Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is RJ. So today we're dropping in on Townstar and I'm going to be showing you how to get yourself started on the Plains tiles with no NFTs and no river. And I'm also going to be giving some extra hints and tips through this video as well, so keep watching. Okay, and welcome to another video. And remember, if this is your first time visiting my channel and you want to learn more about how to earn cryptocurrency for free, about cloud mining sites, crypto investments and lots of other crypto related stuff, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to tag that notification bell so you're alerted to all my latest content as it comes online. Okay, so for those of you that didn't catch it in my recent roller coin video and you're wondering where I've been for the last week or so, well, about nearly 3 weeks actually, is basically on the 29th of December I tested positive for COVID. I'm now back in the UK and I'm negative. So basically for that time that I had COVID, I just wasn't in a fit state to create any new content, although I did do my best to keep up with any posts that you guys were putting on my videos. So sorry for any inconvenience. I am back now, and today what we're going to be looking at is how to get started on a Plains tile in Townstar with no NFTs and no rivers, nothing. So basically you're going to be starting from scratch. You've not got any rivers and you've not got any NFTs. So as you can see, we've got a little bit of a town working here. What we're going to do is we're going to go out into the world. This is us. It's crazy how many people are out there now creating towns and that. This game has just gone so massive. So if we click on a town, we're going to remove this. Hopefully we can end up back in the same spot. So we're going to destroy the town. So we know 6583. That's it. Boom. Hopefully that spot will be available, as obviously it's been quite some time since this monthly server got started. So I'm hoping everybody essentially has got all the spots that they want. So if we dive over here, scroll in, where are we? Here, there we are, and there is our spot available place. So we call it a Plains start. Okay, and here we go. Right. During this video as well, I am going to be answering some questions that I received posts on and things that certain people seemed a little bit confused about. But just to get down the brass tacks, just like trying to build a town in the forest and trying to build a town in the desert, the Plains has pros, but it also has cons. There's upsides and there's downsides. Now, the downside with the Plains compared to the forest, let's say, is that the Plains basically doesn't have a lot of trees compared to the forest, and also as well it doesn't have a lot of ponds. With the forests you can start off, you can sell all of your ponds. Each pond is worth $5,000 that can be added to your in-game total, and once you sell all your ponds you normally get pretty close to about 100,000 in-game dollars, which obviously gives you a really good starting point to get your town up and running. With the Plains, like I say, you don't really have a lot of trees, but you also don't have a lot of ponds either. But with the upsides to the Plains is because you don't have a lot of trees, when it comes to clearing those areas to be laying down roads and buildings and stuff like that, it's not a huge cost. Because if we look here, to remove a tree is 15,000. But to remove a bit of scrub is only 300. On a Plains, there's a lot more scrub than there is trees. So your cost of actually laying out your town is a lot lower than a forest. But like I say, you don't have that starting point of around about $100,000 because you have less ponds. The other upside to Plains is that you have all of this pasture. Each one of these little squares with the flowers on is pasture land. So That is what we're going to be utilizing today to get your town up and running. So we can add that. We don't need this pond, so we can sell that. Yep. Okay. So that's just put us up to 29,000. And then what we can do is we can sell off some of our wheat. So we sell this off and click. There we go. And one of the first questions I'm going to answer, and this is something that a lot of new people need to know and need to understand, because there seems to be a bit of confusion over this. So I had a message from a member or a player of the game that clearly did actually not understand how the game works, and this is what I'm going to clear up. So as you can read here, this is the message I got from that member. I've not put their name in because the point of it is just to make you guys out there understand why this is, and not really to sort of name and shame people. It's not what I'm about. So anyway, this person has written, "What the F? You pay 1 gasoline for a single trip and I pay 11. So I running out of gas after like 4 deliveries. What the F? I don't have any NFTs nor nothing to help me to start, but I still cannot understand why you have this 1 gas fee per instead of 11. So it's so easy for you to make such a video for beginners, LOL." Now, clearly, like I say, this person does not understand how the program works. And for those of you that do have a better understanding of how the program works, fully know that whether you've got NFTs or no NFTs, that does not affect how much gas it costs you to make a delivery. The simple fact is, and this is one of the first things that you should be looking out for when trying to pick a spot. Yes, we all want rivers. Yes, we all want to be, in the best spot we can. But one thing that you should always be looking for, no matter what other things you're looking out for, is to be as close to a city as possible, because this is why your gas fees are so low. If we click on here and we go to sell, you can see that my sell is 1 fuel, because I'm only 22 seconds away from the nearest city. If we scroll down to 11, like this person was saying it was costing them, I'm not saying they were near San Francisco, but if you're being charged 11 gas, that means you are nearly 15 minutes or 14 minutes to be precise, as it shows here, from the nearest city. So I'm guessing that this person clearly had no understanding of how the program worked or how this part of the program worked. They've probably dumped their city down in the middle of nowhere, and then they're having a go at me saying that I'm essentially making videos that are unobtainable or not any use to people without NFTs. This is not true at all. Like I said, it's basically because I selected to be as close to a city as possible. And for new people, I always say this is one of the most important things, because even in the situation, because there's so many members now of Townstar, it becomes more and more difficult to get those prime spots, to get those 2 rivers or 1 river or whatever it is that is a prime spot at that time for that meta. So if all those good places have gone, the next step is to just be as close to a city as possible, because it's going to cut down your delivery times, therefore speed up how fast you are actually earning those city points. And it's those city points which then move you up the leaderboard, and obviously get you into that top 400. So like I say, really that should always be in the back of your mind, no matter what you're looking for in your tile or your spot. you should always be trying to be as close to a city as possible. Okay, so we're at 32,000. We're going to sell a bit more wheat here. So I did have another question that I'm going to quickly go over. And that is from a young lady, I believe. And she was asking about earning the daily tasks. So here you can see the message that they sent, and they've said, thank you for responding again, because that was just an answer to a previous question. He says, the question is it even possible to complete the daily tasks with only one NFT, the free one, meaning if she becomes a gold member, if you become a gold member, you pay $50 for a gold membership, and then you basically are gifted a express depot truck, and that is the free NFT that they are referring to. And then it says, I always see people with towns filled with NFTs when they do their tasks. That is basically because the videos you're watching are people with no end of NFTs. So basically what I'm going to show here is we're actually going to complete all of the tasks. So here we've got 20 out of 1,000 stars. We've not got any NFTs on here. So we're already showing that we're earning the stars towards the task. I'm actually going to show you that we can complete all of those tasks, or that 1,000 stars required, without any NFTs. Now, obviously, some people are going to jump in here without listening to what I'm about to say and say, oh, you can't complete them because you have to have an NFT. No, you can complete the tasks. You can get to that 1,000 stars without any NFTs, but you can't actually claim the town coin itself without an NFT. But we're going to cross that bridge when we come to it. But the first off is we're going to just show that we can complete all of these 1,000 stars required with no NFTs whatsoever. Okay, so we're at 35,000. So what we're going to do here is we're going to click there. We're going to dive into the ranch and we're going to buy a chicken coop for 30,000. And we're going to put a ranch hand here for 1,250. And I've done that round the wrong way again. I always do this. So, obviously, we're going to... in fact, could I just get... Yeah, in fact, actually, I'm just going to quickly cancel that and get that back because it's the wrong way round. So, the first thing we need to do is get ourselves a storehouse. So, we need to just dive in here. And our storehouse is going to cost us 20,000. This is something I always do. And even if you asked a lot of experienced Townstar members, the storehouse, for some weird reason, is the one thing that a lot of people forget. And you do like what I did, and you just sort of you get your chicken coop in there, and then you just start collecting your eggs, and you're like, oh, damn, I forgot to get a storehouse. And therefore, the rancher has nowhere to put the eggs, so the eggs just get thrown away. So what we're going to do is we're not going to click on our rancher to start with, because if we click on the rancher, we then start paying their wages. But while it's just like that, you're not paying any wages. So therefore, the only wages we're paying are for the farmer and for the builder. So what we do now is we've got 14,000. We're just going to keep selling wheat until we get back up to that 30,000, and then we're going to get our chicken coop. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come back in a short period of time, and we're going to jump over that building of money, and we're going to come back in a bit. So keep watching. Okay, welcome back. You can see that we've built up a bank of $36,700. You'll also notice that I've put a few wells in here. You're probably wondering why that is. And basically, by putting these wells in here, what that allows is for the farmer to actually utilize both wheat fields. Normally with the single well, you're only watering, or basically have enough time to water this first one, and the second one doesn't really get used. But obviously by bringing both fields into play, that means it speeds up how fast your wheat is growing, how fast your farmer is collecting that wheat, and then how fast you can sell that wheat. So obviously it just speeds up the process. So that's why I've done it. Also as well, later we will be adding a few ponds, so that's what those wells will be used for also. Okay, so we can now go in and purchase our chicken coop. But we also need to add a lumberjack, because we've used up all of the wood that you start with, and we now need a lumberjack to go and collect some wood for us. So there we go. That leaves us 4,150. We're going to sell one more lot of wheat. You can see we're at 9 now. We're going to sell one more lot. And then obviously the chicken coop will then take over from the selling of the wheat, because the wheat only gives you 3,000 per sale, and the chicken coop is going to give you 11,000 per sale, meaning that you're actually using less fuel to build up your bank. The other thing as well with it, when it comes to the fuel, really keep an eye on it. What you want to be aiming for is when you get down to about 15, then you want to start implementing things to start getting your fuel depot up and running. Okay, so we're going to sell this one lot of wheat, so we're selling that. Okay, so we're selling that. So we can get rid of these wheat fields now. Just for the moment, we're going to get rid of these wheat fields. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put some trees here. We're going to put a couple of tree farms right there. And the reason why we're doing that is basically because although there are trees available, as we discussed, there's not a lot of trees, and once the lumberjack uses all these up, to then for those to grow back takes a very long time. Whereas if you put a couple of tree farms in there, tree farms working at optimal speed, you're going to get brand new trees every 20 or so seconds. So if we click here to replace that tree, for that tree to grow back, that's going to take 13 minutes. Is that 13 minutes? Yeah, 13 minutes that's going to take. Whereas, like I say, each one of these, obviously at the moment, the farmer has to water these, so that takes a bit of time itself, but it's still going to grow faster than that tree and those subsequent trees once they've all removed. So that's why we put that in there. And like I say, we will be adding some other ponds later, which are going to help those trees grow a lot faster. Okay, so I think, is that the last one? So that's going to be the last one to get our chicken coop up and running. So we can add our rancher. They're going to, because we need the rancher to then collect the wood, as a chicken coop requires, as you can see here, 3 feed, 1 wood and 1 water. So if we just spin that round, and this is where all this pasture land comes in. Normally, if you didn't have that, you would have to purchase a trough, you would have to purchase feeders, all that kind of stuff. But because you've got the pasture land, you don't need to spend that money just yet, and your chickens will quite happily go and eat this pasture land, and basically you will be making eggs from that. So as you can see here as well, we've got the auto sell active. If I click on here and we go into dashboard, you can see the first thing in the list is eggs. That will automatically sell for us, and that's going to then build up that nice chunk of money to then purchase other things with. So what we're going to do, again, we're going to come back in a bit once that bank has built up, and we'll then discuss what the next steps are. So keep watching. Okay, so once again, welcome back. You can see we've built up a nice pot of 63,000. Also as well, for those of you that were wondering, I will put a link to the auto sell step-by-step video in the description. And if you go right the way through to the end of this video, that link will be there also, so you can just watch it straight away by clicking on it. Okay, so we're at 63,000. So what we're going to do is we're going to get ourselves another chicken coop. We're going to get another chicken coop, and we're also going to put in a pond just here. Okay. You can also see we are gradually getting through our 1,000 stars. We're now up to 610. Not quite obviously at that 1,000, but you can see even without the NFTs, we are still building those city points and earning our stars. Okay, also obviously it has paid off putting those trees in there. You can see we were at 0 trees. We're now at a full stack of 10, which makes obviously building things a lot easier. And if we skim back, you can still see we have all these patches of pasture for our chickens to go at, because obviously, just like the trees, as you saw just there, one popped up, there's 3 popped up, they will grow back. So even over a course of time, those will get filled in again, which then give your chickens more feed to go at. Okay, so I think we're at 2 there. You see, the other thing as well is what a lot of people do is when they get rid of their wheat, they instinctively get rid of their farmers, sometimes even sell off their silos, which in a lot of circumstances is the correct thing to do. But in this circumstance, because we are actually going to be looking to bring those wheat fields back at a later date, that's why we'll want to keep the silo. And also as well, as you can see with the farmer, he's watering our trees, so it's always good to hang on to the farmer as well. Okay, we've got 8 eggs at the moment for this current batch of eggs that we're looking to sell. Okay, so we can. Okay, so that's good. We've got two chickens on the go now. Right, so we're going to start. I think both of these, I don't know, or is it just the builder? The builder might be the only one that, yeah, the builder is the one that fills our pond up. So that's 3 out of 10 now. And like I say, as I did mention before, this is one of the reasons why we put these 4 wells in. Obviously, it allows the farmer to continue to water our trees, but it also gives that water to the builder as well to fill the ponds. Okay, so we've got 9 eggs. So let's have a look. So that's got 3. Okay, so that should go ready. That will be our 10th egg in the sale. Like I say, because we do have that auto sell running, that means that once the eggs reach 10, they will be automatically sold and your points will be automatically collected as well. Okay, that one's ready. we've got 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and that will be ready also. Okay, how are we getting on with our pond? Okay, we're at 5. Okay, here we go. Eggs being sold. There you go. Takes our 1 fuel, 10 eggs. That's going to go off to market, and then we're going to get another 11,000 and something in our banks. So you can see we're at 22 fuel at the moment. I did say when we get down to about 15, we do have to start thinking about building our fuel depot. But right at the moment, we're okay. Okay, so we're at nearly 30,000. How much we got here? Okay, so we're at 7 with our pond. Okay, nearly there, nearly there. Got 8. Okay, obviously as well is the good thing is by adding this pond is it will help these trees grow faster because they're going to need less water from the farmer because they're going to be drawing well, this first field will be drawing 4 water and this field back here will be getting 2, so the farmer will only need to give 8 to this back one and 6 to this front one. So obviously that speeds that up as well. So that's good. Okay, we're at 9. So the farmer has already put 4 on there. This is gonna, so this first field should straight away, once this pond is done, go to being done. So we'll click on that. And there you go. And that's got 3. And while we're waiting for the eggs, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put another pond here. Okay. So that needs 7 water. Say we've still got plenty of pasture to go out there. So when using the chicken coops, you can pretty much go all the way from 0 to your fuel depot being completely finished and your town being self-sufficient. But because your eggs only give you 11,000 per sale, it does sort of drag it out a bit, and you do start to get very close to the point where you're running out of fuel. So obviously the chickens are just sort of like a bit of an interim, and then we're going to look later once we've built up our bank once again what the next step is going to be. I mean, the great thing as well with the pasture is basically any grazing animals. So your chickens, your sheep, your cows, they can all basically use the plains pasture as a means of feed. And like I say, because of that, the necessity of troughs and feed mills is not such a high priority because you have all that pasture land. Okay, what are we at? 7. So, just as I actually had a while we're waiting for this to sort of finish, I did actually have another viewer, subscriber, say to me that they thought it was disappointing that on my, I think it was the forest start, it could have been the desert start, that I didn't show the final build. Well, the point of obviously these videos that are called how to start and whatever the environment is purely that. It's only to show how for you to get started in the different environments. As to what you do after that, so whether you set out to do a uniform build, you set out to do a blue steel build, a candy cane build, a cake build, whatever, that is essentially for you then to build on this foundation. This is simply just a point of getting your town to the point of being self-sufficient, because once it's self-sufficient and you're producing fuel and all that kind of stuff, there is no stress really, because your town will keep working no matter what. Obviously if you're running the auto sell, then it's gonna sell everything that you've set that up to do, and obviously it will continue to produce fuel, so you'll never run out of fuel. Therefore you can always make your sales, therefore you've always got enough money to pay for your workers. And that is something else that you have to think about, is that when you're building up these pots of money, don't build up exactly what you need, because if you built up say 30,000, then you go and buy yourself a chicken coop, well, you've got no more money left, so therefore you can't pay your ranchers, you can't pay your lumberjack, you can't pay your farmer. So then what happens is all your workers go to sleep, and that is your town game over pretty much, unless you can find something to sell that will give you enough money to then sort of support your town until the next big sale. So always bear that in mind whenever you're building up these pots of cash, that you sort of over build, as it were, to make sure that there's enough spare cash there to pay your workers to continue working while you're waiting for the next payout. Okay, so this pond is done, that set of ponds is done. What we're going to do is we're going to allow our town to continue to build, and then we're going to come back and look at what we're going to be doing next. Okay, so keep watching. Okay, so as you can see, we are now at, well, just under 70,000, and we've got 18 fuel left, and we have also completed our tasks. Here, if we click on, we've got our 1090 stars. As you can see here, we cannot collect the rewards currently, which I said that's you wouldn't be able to until you actually added your NFT to the to your town. But I just wanted to show that it is possible to collect those rewards even with no NFTs, because that viewer didn't believe that it was possible unless you had numerous amounts of NFTs. You wouldn't be able to collect them, but I've shown that you can actually collect them without NFTs. So the first thing we're actually going to do with the money that we've got is we're going to actually put a sheep pen just here. The reason why we're going for sheep now is basically a money situation, because to build your fuel depot you need 2 power stations, you need 2 refineries, you need a lumber mill, you need oil pumps, you need workers, all these kind of things. So it starts getting quite expensive, and that is what I was talking about earlier, is you can do it if you go and get chicken coops and nothing else, but it's going to take you a long while, and therefore uses up more fuel, getting you to the point to a very, very low level. So by adding sheep, it means that rather than earning 11,000 every sale, you're earning 45,000 every sale, and that is what we're aiming for. Okay, so while our builder is building our sheep pen, like we just looked at, we've got our 1,000 stars. So to claim our town coin, let's just remove that there. So to claim our town coin, we need to put an NFT down. So obviously the NFT that our viewer was talking about was the free NFT that you get for your gold membership. And if we dive into my NFT section, we can see here it is, the Express Depot. This is the NFT you receive for getting yourself a gold membership. So we add that, and that will give you, if we click on this now, that will show that the button is available and that we'll earn 1 town coin. Now, a lot of people will think, well, 1 town coin isn't that much, but this particular NFT is extremely useful, and I'll show you the reason why. So as we saw with the price of things, as we know, that will take 22 seconds to deliver something, and it will cost us 1 fuel. And if we scroll down, go to the 11 that we talked about, that is going to take 14 minutes, and it's going to cost us 11 fuel using the standard truck. If we click on the fuel, the Express Depot, we click on that. No, sorry, I'm going mad. We click on this. So now, yes, that's still costing us 1 fuel because that's as low as it can go. But instead of 22 seconds, it's going to take 16 seconds. So in one respect, it speeds up your delivery time. And if we scroll down here, so it was San Francisco, remember? If we go to San Francisco now only costs us 5 fuel, not 11, 5 fuel. And instead of taking 14 minutes, it takes 10 minutes. And that is the benefit of having that Express Depot. For me, if you're looking for a cheap, quick way to get an NFT, get yourself a gold membership, cost you $50, and you will get that NFT, and you've just seen what those benefits are. And I do think it is one of the most important NFTs to get, especially at the beginning, because it really does help you. Okay, something else I want to point out, and this is to newbies, I've seen a lot of you do this, that you've got yourself your gold membership, you've got your Express Depot, And just like this, you've got your express depot and you've got your standard truck there as well, but you don't actually need it. It's like you're worried that if you get rid of this, it's going to be detrimental or something to your town. Basically, what you do is just click on it and sell it. You know, if you've got an express truck, just sell this. It's going to put 1,250 into your bank, so that's adding that too. And then you just put your NFT express truck in the exact place. Just put it. I mean, you can put it wherever you want, like you say. So I plonked it just there. If I return that, okay, I can put it here. Go there, express depot there. Ta-da! There you go. You can put it wherever you want, but you don't need to hang on to your standard express truck. Once you've got that NFT, just sell it, and like I say, it just puts that extra bit in your pocket. Okay, so as we've seen, that is how that works. And if we go into, because obviously I have NFTs that will earn me more than one town coin. So for me, that is me losing out. So what I do is I go in here and I'll pick my wheat stand. That's going to give me the most, and that's going to give me the most. So we put that, and then if we click on here, that now shows 14 town coin, because it doesn't matter how many NFTs you have. If you're only at level 1 like I am, that means only one NFT you will earn on. You can only earn on one NFT at level 1. Once you go to level 2, you can earn on 2 NFTs. Level 3, you can earn on 3 NFTs, and so on and so on. But it will always give you the highest amount available. We saw that with the express truck, that gives me 1 town coin. But now I've put my wheat stand in there, I now can claim 14 town coin. Okay, so we're going to claim that. And then we click on here again. There it goes. Your reward has been collected. And the express truck has actually gone off. And when that comes back, it will put our eggs, or 11,000, in there. So we're at 45,000 now. But because this video is essentially all about doing this with no NFTs, we're going to remove that now. And we're going to remove this now. I just wanted to show that and show what they can do and how the whole earning of town coin and stuff like that works. And as we have claimed that now, we can get rid of those and move on with our town with no NFTs, no rivers, nothing like that. It is a bog standard setup. Okay, so we've got our sheep. So we click on that. We've got 5 water, so that is straight away. We don't need to worry about any extra water. We need 9 feed. So because we need 9 feed, obviously we can scroll out. There's still plenty of pasture, but it is going to start getting to the point where that pasture is going to start running out. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a trough here, trough there, and we're going to put let's see, where are we going to put them? We can put some feeders here. If we put a feeder there, so if we put a, we're going to put a feeder here, there, and we're going to put a feeder just there. Okay, so we've still got 30,000, so we've got our trough now. Remember as well, on the diagonal as well as the straight, this is going to give you at least 3. So remove this, yeah, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put our wheat back. So we'll go to farm, wheat there, wheat there, and we can put a wheat here, and they should all work optimally. Okay, so that's there, and that's there, and there you go. They are all instantly working straight away because they're receiving 3 water from this, and also, as you can see, we've still got our trees growing nicely as well. Okay, so the other thing you're going to need is another ranch hand. And we're actually, what we at, 27,000, so I'm going to put another feeder there as well. So we've already got a wool that's ready. Okay, so that's another. And we're actually going to add another ranch hand. We've got 22,000, which is plenty. Okay, so here comes our builder. It's going to add, basically activate our feeder, our last feeder, and then it will go on to build our ranchers, and then that's when everything will start speeding up a bit. So just rotate that like that. We've still got 10 wood, so the ranch hand buildings only take 1 wood each, so they will be activated pretty rapidly. I am hoping that putting that ranch there is not going to interfere with our trees, but I have a bad feeling it's going to, but we'll have to wait and see. And I think we might actually have to add another farmer as well, because I don't think, I think the farmer is going to be more focused on, the farmer's going to be more focused on collecting the wheat than it is going to be watering the trees. And this is all stuff that you do have to sort of be aware of, and you have to think about. You see, he's just going to get that wheat. He's not at all bothered about watering the trees now. So what we can do is, if we put a road here, put a road there, okay, there, we can put a farmer here. Farmer there, and then if you want, we could get rid of that scrub and actually put another farmer in there. Okay, so our ranch hands are collecting the wheat and the feed and filling up the trough. So I've added one more farmer, There you go. So we're going to see if hopefully, I think they're going to start just getting the wheat again. So maybe if we just remove one, we remove a wheat basically. If we remove a wheat, or in fact actually remove that, add that, what we at? 18,000, still got plenty. And we just stick another farmer in there, and hopefully if that doesn't work, then what we do is we remove a field of wheat, and then hopefully one of those farmers will then go and water the trees. Okay, so it's 17 fuel. We've got two wool. Okay, so there's your third farmer. Okay, so yeah, I think we're just going to end up with 3 farmers. Oh no, here we go. There we go. Getting the water. So, like I say, I'm interested to see if this is then affected by that building. So if it is, yeah, it is. It means it's added an extra 10 seconds, I think, to it. So to be optimal, although it's not really that important, because it's the difference between 20 seconds and 38 seconds is not a huge amount, but if it does become a problem, you can just remove that ranch, put it somewhere else, and then that will become optimal once again. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to basically just hang out, wait for that to build up again, and then we're going to come back and we'll get on to the next step, should I say. So keep watching. Okay, so we've got 9 eggs. This is going to be our last batch of eggs. So basically, because we've got wool on the go now, and we're trying to minimize the amount of fuel that we're using. So what we're going to do is basically all these eggs, we're just going to stop. So we're just going to stop that, and they will go to sleep. Therefore, they won't be producing any more eggs. And basically, the sheep is now, we're basically just moving over to wool. That is the point of it, and therefore, like I said, every 10 is then going to be earning you 45,000 as opposed to 11,000, which then that makes building and completing your fuel depot a lot easier. Okay, so keep watching. Okay, so this is just a bit of a quick I don't know, for your information kind of thing, because I'm sure numerous people out there will notice that the hours here has changed quite dramatically. The reason for this is basically I started creating this video quite late yesterday, and it got to about 11 o'clock when the last thing that you saw, and obviously I wanted to get to sleep, but obviously I didn't let it run overnight. I basically, as soon as, that's the thing with Townstar, something you have to remember, that if you log out of Townstar, the town just stops running. It will be essentially paused at that point, which is why the people that are the most competitive are people that will have their computers running 24/7 using the auto sell script. But as you can see, the amount of cash we have in our bank here is exactly the same as it was when we left. So we're going to obviously allow this to continue to run. We're going to allow our wool to build up. We'll sell our wool, and then we'll start moving on to the next steps. So keep watching. Okay, so as you can see, we've built up a nice little bank there. We've got 117,000. So that was basically 2 sales of wool on top of what we already had. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to replace these now. So we're going to remove these, which are going to give us 7,500 each. So that's good. So that adds obviously a bit more to the bank. Go into the ranch, sheep pen, and then we do the same here. Remove that. Yeah. Go here. Sheep pen. Watch our builder. Excuse me. Build our pens. So basically, once these are done, this is where you're going to have to start actually thinking about your build, because the next thing after this, once we've got our 3 sheep pens, that is pretty much our startup town that's earning us money to build a bank. That's it, pretty much done. So the next thing we're going to build is our fuel depot. Now, obviously, I'm just going to put it in a convenient corner, but that might not suit the build that you're actually doing. So obviously, don't just blindly follow this when you get to that. When you get to the point of building your fuel depot, you got to think to yourself, right? Okay, I'm going to be doing whatever build, whether it, like I said earlier, whether it's a uniform build, a blue steel, a cake, whatever, you've got to think, right, where is the best place going to be for my fuel depot? Remember, if you're using any large amount of crops, fuel depots produce pollution, but they also produce shade, so that is going to affect how fast your crops grow. Just like this rancher building, these were running optimal. As soon as we put that rancher building there, which is only 1 square away, it then affected it, and that changed from 20 odd seconds up to 38 seconds or 40 seconds. So your fuel depot is going to affect your crops that way, but it's also going to affect things with the pollution that it produces. So you got to start, that's why you got to think, right, where is going to be the best place that I can put that fuel depot? So like I say, because, and I've said this numerous times, us YouTubers, we produce these sort of how to start videos and hints and tip videos and all that kind of stuff to obviously give you some kind of guidance. But at the end of the day, if you want to be good at this game and you want to be regularly getting in that top 400, top 200, maybe the top 100, just copying what other people do is not going to get you there, because no end of people are doing the same thing. You've got to really look at it, and you've got to understand how the game works, and you've got to go, okay, right, I can actually see a better way of doing this build. So I can see a way that I can improve it, that it will be producing more blue steel, it will be producing more uniforms, stuff like that. That's how you've got to think. Like I say, just copying what everybody else does, all it essentially does for you is put you in a queue with everybody else that's doing the same thing. You've got to be thinking out of the box and what ways you can improve your build to be better than everybody else's. Okay, so we'll just get this sheep pen up and running. Okay, so we've got 51,000 left over after we've got our sheep. Our farmers are farming very nicely. Our ranchers are ranching very nicely. So like I say, as a little startup town, this is pretty much bang on, right? You've got your wool is going to be building really quickly now. You've got 3 sheep. And then, like I say, we're then going to have to start looking at building our depot. So while our builder is finishing off that thing, off the sheep pen, we're going to be looking at building our depot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a road here. Get rid of these bits. And then we just just put a road there. Like I said just a minute ago, I'm just putting this in a convenient corner to obviously demonstrate to you how to build your depot and get it up and running to the point where you are self-sufficient, or your town is self-sufficient. Okay, so that's that done. Right, so the next thing we got to do with this road is we've got to pave it, because both power stations and refineries need to be next to a paved road. If you don't have a paved road, you cannot put a refinery on it. So, okay, so that's our sheep, final sheep pen done, so that's cool. So we've got 46,000. Obviously, we want to make sure that we've got a good amount of money still in the bank. So we're going to upgrade that. So that's 10,000. And we're going to upgrade that one as well. And we'll upgrade that one as well. Okay, and we've got 17,000 left over. So each one of these requires 3 wood. So we've got 6 wood. Obviously, we've got our trees growing there. We will also need to be putting a pond just in that spot right there. Obviously, we don't have the money at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to build up our bank once again to a decent amount, and then we're going to come back and hopefully be able to finish off our fuel depot in one go. So keep watching. Okay, and welcome back, and thanks for sticking around. So we're nearly at the end of this how-to tutorial. So you can see that we've raised 410,000, and that is just purely from the sheep. But you'll also notice we've still got 5 fuel left. Now, if you were using the chicken coops, you would have got probably right down to the point of basically being at 0. And I'm still not sure if you would have this amount of money. But and that's why we've transitioned from the chicken coops over to the sheep. So basically they're giving you more money, and therefore you have a bit more leeway when it comes to your fuel. So we're going to sort out that fuel depot now, but before we do, we are going to claim our town coin. As before, you saw in the earlier part of the video, as we're not using any NFTs in this build, we cannot claim the rewards right at this second. But what we're going to do is we're just going to grab our highest paying NFT, which is the wheat stand. We're going to drop it in there. Then we're going to claim it. Claim. Click back on it. Just says has been collected. And then we're going to click on our thingy, on our wheat stand, and return it back. So now, once again, we have no NFTs in here. Because that is the point of this how-to. We are not using any NFT to essentially achieve our goal of getting our little town up and running to the point of self-sufficient from 0 to gas production, basically. Okay, so our paved road is finished. So we can click on here, we can even just upgrade that as well. We're going to put our fuel, we're going to remove this. We're going to put our pond in here, as we discussed. Okay, so that is going to need 10 water. Okay, so while that is doing that, what we're going to do, because we need to basically build buildings such as the power stations, we require electricity. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this here. Remove that. We're going to put a road there. And then we're going to put wind turbine just there. We'll put a wind turbine there, and then we're going to do 1, 2, so 1 square way, 2 square way, put a road there. And then we're going to put another wind turbine next to that. The reason why obviously we space it out is to make sure that these wind turbines are running at optimal. And then we're going to do, in fact, we'll leave it at 2 wind turbines. Right, the next thing we want to be doing is we want to be putting a warehouse just there. Yeah, we'll put the warehouse there. Okay, that should finish off that. Yeah, that finishes that off. Okay, our builders should start. In fact, what we're going to do as well, we're going to remove that there and just add another builder in, because this basically is going to speed everything up just that little bit quicker to get things done a bit faster by putting a second builder in there. A lot of times I do say, you know, and I mean, if you can afford it, get up to 6, 8 builders to begin with, and then once the main part of your town has done so, obviously not this bit, but once you've sort of started to progress into what your final town will be, like I said, you know, uniforms, blue steel, cakes, whatever you decide, you know, if you've got the money, get yourself 5 or 6, 8 builders, because that's gonna put everything down on the ground a lot faster. Okay, so we're also going to put a road here. Now, this is something you can do right early on. I didn't do it, but so if we put that there, we get rid of the scrub at this point here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually remove this rancher. The reason for that is because in a minute we're going to be adding in a lumber mill. A lumber mill requires a lot of wood, so we want our little tree farms basically at optimal, and right now they are not. So we're going to remove that, and we're going to put a ranch here. And because we are 2 squares away from that wind turbine should remain at optimal when it is activated. Okay, so our builders are busily building up, adding water to our pond. And we've got our other builder, which is about to finish off our warehouse. Obviously, the reason why we add a warehouse is because the warehouse is where the electricity from the wind turbines is going to get stored. And the reason, like I say, we're doing this is that for your power stations, you require electricity to build them. So, but obviously it's your power stations that would normally make electricity, but obviously you can't make electricity if you don't have the power stations. So we use wind turbines to create batteries which get stored in the warehouse, which then get used to build our power stations. Okay, we're still at 357,000. We've still got plenty of cash, and obviously you know, in the meantime, our ranchers are still ranchers. Our sheep are still producing wool. We've got two more or one more now. As our rancher takes that one there, that's going to go up to 9. So we're going to get another payout of 40 odd thousand, which is going to bring us back pretty close to that 400,000 we started with. So, like I say, you know, getting to that point of about 400,000, that is going to allow you to quickly get all this sorted, and pretty much you should be able to get it sorted in one go, really. Right, so we need, so that's going to be there. So we need to add a road here. Add a road there. We might as well. Yeah, there you go. So that's the wool. So that's going to give us another 40 odd thousand there. Might as well add another road there and another road there, just for a bit of speed things up. When people are wandering around, when our workers are walking around collecting stuff, having as many roads as possible is always a good thing. Okay, so actually we could have had our warehouse just there, but it's okay there. Okay, so as we've actually got an extra space there. A lot of people you will see will actually move their fuel tank right in front of your fuel depot, which is something that I probably would advise, because it just means that collecting your petroleum and stuff like that. In fact, we are going to do that, because this is you know, really how you should do it. So industrial, put fuel storage there, because obviously you've got two refineries. One is creating petroleum, which gets dumped into the fuel tank, and then the other one is taking that petroleum and then using it to create gasoline. And then once the gasoline is done, it gets put back in that fuel tank. So to speed things up, having a fuel tank right in front of your refinery depot or your fuel depot is actually good policy. And once we've ran out of the fuel that we've got in this one, we will just simply remove that, and then this one here becomes the main fuel tank. Okay, how close are we? Ooh. How close are we? So is that 8? Yeah, so it's 2 more. And this, again, as you can see, this is why we put these wells here. Just speeds it up, because if we were waiting for that one well, especially with the farmer taking water to water the trees and stuff like that, then, you know, you're going to be waiting a long time. So adding these extra wells, it just really speeds things up. Okay, that's going to be the last one. Okay, so we've still got 10 wood. You see, this is the reason why we moved that rancher, is because these are now working at optimal, so they're producing wood a lot faster. Therefore, it is keeping our little wood shed full. Okay, so next to this pond, you want to be adding a couple of fuel pumps. So I want to add one there. Get rid of this scrub here, remove that, and then add another water there. Okay, how much is that? So that's going to be 5 wood for that fuel tank. Yeah, so we're down to 283,000 now. Could really do with that extra rancher being activated. the thing is with these workers, this is another reason why it's a good idea to add as many as you can, is basically that they will prioritize certain things. So like buildings usually get prioritized over most other things. So if you're if you're building, say you're trying to build your wind turbines, for instance, and then suddenly you slap down a power station, the power station is probably going to take priority over your workers. So sometimes you have to sort of think, right, what I need to do is get those built first before I then start adding anything else to be built, because of the priorities. So obviously I've just sort of slapped everything down ready, but it's not always the best way. Sometimes being a bit slower means things will actually get built a bit quicker, and in the I'm trying to think of the word, sorry, my brain's just gone, sort of in the order that you actually want them to be built. Okay, so there's our fuel tank. So we've got 4, like I say, left in that one. We'll use all of that up. Okay, so they're now going to do the water pumps. And what we're going to do, because it will prioritise this first one, then it will probably prioritise the second one. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to leave, not add anything else until all these other things are up and running. So now we've got to get these turbines up and running. Each one only takes 1, as you can see. So if we click on this, this should be optimal. There you go, that's optimal. This one will be optimal. Right, so now that's done, what we want to do is we want to drop a factory worker in just behind this farm house. So we need a factory worker, because the factory worker is the person that's going to collect your electricity and put it into your warehouse. So that one should be optimal as well. Yep. Okay, so we're only got 1 log left. And then what I'm going to do right here, just to get things rolling as well, is we're going to add two oil pumps, because we need oil pumps, we need oil, should I say, to create petroleum. See, it's great with these logs, being optimal, and you've got your farmers watering them as fast as they can. It is it's keeping us rolling and getting this build done pretty fast. Okay, there's your factory worker over on the left hand side, just collecting the first battery produced by the wind turbines. He's going to then come along and then drop that in the warehouse. Okay, so that's 1 oil pump going. As you can see, even at optimal, your oil pump will take about 3 minutes. And then once that's done, obviously our wind turbines are rocking and rolling. We're going to add a refinery just in here, and we're also going to add a refinery just here as well. But once they're built, we're not actually going to click on them because we don't actually want to activate them just yet, because like I say, with what I spoke about earlier about leaving the rancher until we actually needed them, because obviously as soon as you click on them, you then start paying the wages for those workers, even if you are not doing anything with the building. So we're just basically getting them there, and then we'll leave them until we're ready to actually start using them. We've still got 4 fuel, so that's still 4 payouts, so that's fine. We've got 275,000, plenty enough in the bank. I mean, what you could do at this point, because you've still got obviously the odd tree out here, which is taking your lumberjack away. So what you could do, if you wanted to speed it up a bit more, if you could find a spot that wasn't going to affect your trees and that, so maybe like this spot back here, you could add another lumberjack, and then that's obviously going to speed up how fast your wood is coming into your wood pen, and just keeps it topped up. So we're going to do that. So we just add a lumberjack. So really what that means is that you should have one lumberjack essentially working these fields all the time, and then when a tree pops up out here somewhere, the other lumberjack will go and sort them. So you should always have now a build up of wood without having to wait too long, and that's just like I say, the whole thing is just about trying to speed things up. But you don't want to be adding these things too early, because if you do, you then again you're paying wages for something that you're not really using. You want to start, these kind of things when you just want to be adding them gradually. Like when you see, okay, I'm waiting too long now for my trees, I want to add another lumberjack because that's going to speed that up. Things like that. Sometimes people tend to add, loads of workers, or, loads of things that they don't necessarily need. That pushes up your wages here on the left hand side, which those wages, that's $280, gets removed from your bank every minute. So if you start getting into the thousands because you've activated, say, refineries, power stations, things like that, which you're not even actually using at the time, that is going to start really draining the amount of money you have in your bank to spend. So like I say, be mindful of that. Only add things when you really need them, which right now is we've got to that point where we're just waiting too long for certain things. So that's why we're adding things like lumberjacks and stuff like that. Okay, so that's another payout. So that's going to take us back up to about 300,000. So we are absolutely cruising now, really. So I think we're pretty much done now, aren't we? So like I said, we're going to add a refinery in here. Refinery there. And then we're going to add another refinery there. So, for those of you that don't know, basically a refinery that is making petroleum only needs basically to get water from one water pump, and it only needs electricity from one power station, which will be in this space here. So that will give that enough, and that will be completely self-sufficient and essentially running on its own at that point. A refinery that is making gasoline requires your water from both pumps. That's why you've got to put it in the middle. And it also requires 6 electricity. So that is, and each power station will produce 3 electricity. So that's why you've got to put that in the middle. So again, that refinery becomes self-sufficient, and you're not having to send your workers off to collect batteries from the warehouse, because obviously that just slows things down. The reason why we're collecting electricity right now is because when we make our power stations, to build a power station you need 5 lumber, 5 wood and 5 electricity. So say 5 batteries, which will be obviously ready and waiting in this warehouse when we go to build them. So at the moment obviously we're just trying to get these refineries. So we're nearly at the point we only need 1 more wood. That refinery will be done, and then we're gonna need 5 wood for that. And we've got obviously our 2 lumberjacks working away very hard, so it shouldn't be too long before they're completed. And then we'll drop a lumber mill in the back here, and then we'll start making lumber. Actually, we won't start making lumber straight away. We will allow our builders to collect the 5 wood first for each of our power stations, and also collect the 5 electricity for each of our power stations. Then we will activate the lumber mill and create our lumber. Because also as well, the other reason to throw your extra lumberjack in there is because not only is the wood being used for building buildings, the wood is also required to give to your sheep. And obviously if you've only got 1 lumberjack, when you start building power stations and stuff like that, that wood supply starts getting very thin. So that is another reason to have a second lumberjack. Okay, so 1 more for that. So as we can drop a lumber mill just there, so that's there in the back. So one of these woods are going to go to that, and then the other wood should go straight to the lumber mill. Okay, so we've got both our refineries ready. Okay, so that didn't take very long at all. You can see with the little thing in the background there, the lumber mill is completed now. So we're going to click on this, and we're going to go to power station, and then we're going to click on a second power station there. For some weird reason, as you can see, that power station looks a bit odd, and that is because I believe one of my skins has been added to it. So if we just do that, if we just remove that, there you go. Because obviously, even though skins aren't really classed as NFTs, they still do give a helping hand. And obviously this whole thing is about creating this with no NFTs, no extra help or anything like that. So no rivers, nothing like that. So obviously I've removed that, so we stay true to the cause. We've got 34,000 remaining, nearly 35,000. We've got 7 wool, so we're going to be getting another payout shortly anyway. But 35,000 at 280 every minute, that's going to last you a decent length of time anyway. But what we do, like I say, we're going to click on these. So we've got 2 wood on that one, 2 electricity on that one, we've got 0 on that. We're going to come back when they're ready to be activated, so keep watching. Okay, so if we move this over here and zoom in, if we click on the power stations, you'll see that we've got our 5 wood, we've got our 5 electricity on both. That is what we've been waiting for. And then what we can do is activate our lumber mill now. Go in, click on craft, and then click make lumber. And because basically we've situated the lumber mill where it will be getting the amount of water required from the water pump that is sat behind it. It will need to be using some of these batteries as well. So although I did say that once obviously your power stations are fully up and running, which that you could remove your wind turbines, that's not strictly true. I mean, you can, but the thing is that later on, when you start building the rest of your town, other buildings will require those batteries. Just like the power station did, it required 5 batteries, 5 wood, and 5 lumber. Other big buildings will also. So if you're doing a uniforms build and you're building your factory, your fabric factories, they need that. They need 5 lumber, 5 wood, 5 electricity. So really, my advice would be to hang on to these your turbines wherever you've placed them on the map. Hang on to them as long as you can, and use the batteries that are getting put in your warehouse to help build your other buildings. Obviously, once these power stations are up and running, the lumber mill will no longer require the batteries because it will be getting electricity direct from the power station. But like I say, your other buildings that you will add to your town later will require those batteries. So hang on to those turbines until you're basically completely finished your town. Because if you use your power stations to create batteries, they require crude oil. Your refineries also require crude oil to produce petroleum. So that means that essentially you've got 2 things that are fighting over your crude oil. And obviously that's also going to slow down fuel production. You could get to the point where you run out of fuel and you're having to wait before you can make a sale, all those kind of things. So having a couple of wind turbines creating batteries for you and not relying on your power stations, that will make things a lot easier and will allow things to run a lot smoother. So just bear that in mind. Okay, so there's a slot of lumber coming from carried by our builder. So that's 1 out of 5. So what we're going to do, okay, so we are going to come back when this is all done and dusted and we can activate our power stations. So keep watching. Okay, so here we are. Our builder is collecting our final piece of lumber to activate this last power station. Once obviously that's activated, then we can click on all these and get them up and running. But there are a couple of things that you need to remember to do when you activate them. Otherwise you could well end up in a situation like I was talking about, where you've got your refineries and your power stations battling over your crude oil. Okay, so that's all ready to rock and roll. Right as well, right at this moment, we no longer need the lumber mill. So as that is obviously taking wood from our sheep and stuff like that, we need to stop this running. So that's one of the first things you got to remember, is to stop that lumber mill running until you need it again. Okay, so the other thing as well you might notice is we do have 23 barrels of crude oil. Your fuel tank can hold up to 40, but don't worry about that, because we've put everything so close. When we activate this refinery for your petroleum, that is going to use 2 barrels of crude oil about every minute or so, and it takes 3 minutes to produce 1 barrel of crude oil. So you will see that to gradually start coming down. So we activate the petroleum, then we're going to activate this power station. Now with the power stations, first thing you got to do, again, stop it, switch it off, because it's going to start taking your crude oil, and like I say, you need that for your fuel production. Okay, so we click on this. This is the second refinery, and we're going to set this one for producing gasoline. And then obviously the second power station, again, click on that and press stop. That will then obviously those 2 power stations are going to sleep. Your lumber mill is sleeping. There you go. Your first refinery is already producing a barrel of petroleum, and that will get dumped back into that fuel tank, and then your worker from your gasoline refinery will come and collect that and produce gasoline. You can see in the listing over the left hand side, we have completely ran out of gasoline, so we can remove that. Gives us 3,700 back in the 750 in the bank. Also gives us an extra space if we want to add a builder in there or something else. And that's it. So there are sort of the things that you've got to remember when you're activating all your power stations, all your refineries, just to make sure everything continues to run smoothly. Like I say, hang on to your turbines, because later on, when you are looking to build extra other buildings for your town later, you will need that electricity. So for me, because the competition starts around 5 p.m. GMT UK time, once I get to this point where my town is now self-sufficient, that is about the time I want to go to bed. So the great thing with this is, obviously we've got our sheep producing wool, we're now producing gasoline. There you go, we've now got 1 gasoline in there already. Takes no time. If you've got everything this close, takes no time to get these things up, things running, and obviously making the products we want. But like I say, this around about this time is, once I've got this all up and running, is about the time I'm going to bed. So what I'll simply do is just get obviously make sure that our auto cell is working. It doesn't matter. It gives this alert saying that it is out of gas. If I click refresh now, that out of gas will go. But even if it says out of gas, but you do have gasoline, your auto cell script will work, so don't worry about that. But obviously, if you are concerned, just refresh the page and that out of gas bit will disappear. But yeah, so basically all I will do from this point is essentially just switch off my monitor, leave my auto cell script selling, and I'll wake up in the morning to a nice bank of a good few $1 million, and then that will get me straight on to building the rest of my town, like the main part of my town. Okay, so obviously I'm going to leave that there. I hope you found it informative and enjoyable. I realise these how-to videos can drag on a bit. I hope it didn't too much. And if you are interested in those earlier videos that I talked about, they're probably on your screen right now. So get clicking and get watching. And if you could smash that like button, it really supports my channel, which then helps me bring more content to you. So take care, have a great rest of your week, and I'll speak to you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.